Green Bay. According to our Adam Schefter, Micah Parsons has been dealing with a joint sprain in his back. It's possible that Parsons will receive an epidural before Sunday's game against the Lions. He did practice with the Packers yesterday for the first time. According to several players at practice, he was a limited participant. Now, we all sort of scoff at his quote-unquote sore back while he was a hold-in in Dallas. Does this suggest, Grouse, that there is something more than we expected involving his condition?
I don't think it's. It doesn't sound, I don't think it's anything serious. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's anything that like Packers fans and the Packers should be worried about. And the reason I don't think that is because the Green Bay Packers traded 2 first-round picks, one of their defensive starters, and then gave him $47 million a year, $150 million guaranteed. They did a physical. So if there was anything to be concerned about long-term, then maybe the Packers don't. I mean, this is a serious organization. Like this is not, you know, they're not just doing it just to do it. They would be careful. So I don't know. You know, these details come out now. You know, it's possible that Micah doesn't want people to think his back injury is fake, as everybody's been saying it, and it's possible it does hurt. But I think if he doesn't play Sunday, the more likely reason is that he just got there, didn't have a training camp, still getting up to speed in the defense, that kind of thing, versus not physically able.
To that point, and you guys were both telling me, D. Wood, I mean, the just how comprehensive the physical is when any NFL team brings you in, regardless of your status, much less a guy that they're going to pay that kind of money to.
Yeah, I just can't imagine, even with, you know, the injury that we're talking about with Micah Parsons, the team literally giving out that compensation, both, you know, draft picks and contract, and you're not able to. You have to pass the physical in order for the team, the Green Bay Packers, to dole out that much to acquire a player. It's just not possible.
So in the event he doesn't play, you were telling me that that's a different decision that they'll be making relative to what his impact could be this quickly.
Yeah, I think that's more a football decision because you have to look at it. There's 53 guys on a roster on game day. You don't get all 53. So you have to dictate who's playing and who's not. Micah Parsons' impact in 10 to 15 plays, is that worth not having another guy available to play a full 4 quarters wherever you may need him? I think that's the decision Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator, and Matt LaFleur, the head coach, have to make when it comes to
your point. So what you're saying is that this is a guy, regardless of whatever the condition of his back is, he hasn't been practicing, he hasn't been in football shape, as you guys talk about all the time. He gets there and goes through his first workout yesterday. You don't think he can play a full game on Sunday?
You develop a package for Micah Parsons. For one, he doesn't know your playbook. He doesn't know the communication. He can't go out there for 65 snaps and line up next to guys and know what he's doing. So you design a package to get him out there and get him in a position to create havoc.
Okay, so that's fair. So let's talk about what he does bring to this team, whether it is this coming Sunday. By the way, they open with the Lions, so that is a game that could wind up having enormous impact as the season goes forward if we project both those teams to be really good. But if I can put up B11, here's why Micah Parsons might be exactly what this team needed. The Packers defense was good last year, Dan, but they were not good at rushing the passer. They were 26th in pass rush win rate, 22nd in pressure rate. Micah Parsons was the second best player in the league in that category a year ago. He is the final. They are hoping that, you know, when you have a jigsaw puzzle and you have one piece left, and they're hoping he's that.
They lost 6 games last year that they were trying to win. 2 to the Lions, 2 to the Vikings, 2 to the Eagles. Top 3 teams in the NFC.
Right.
The Packers feel like they're pretty close. They beat everybody else. So we need to do something to elevate to that level and ideally beyond. So you see an organization that for years hoarded draft picks, would never trade first-round picks for players, send 2 of them for one player because they think he's that level of a difference maker against Detroit, against Philly, against Minnesota, whoever they have to beat to get to the Super Bowl.
Is he that? Is he the finishing piece this team needs to get back to the top?
He's a finisher. You combine him with Rashawn Gary on the other side, that tandem could be what finishes off games. Remember, like, they have a very good offense. They're going to be able to score points. But your pass rush is what's going to seal the deal for you. You bring in arguably the best pass rush in the league. Yes, it should help them.
J-Mac, quickly, you were telling me specifically the impact he makes on what might be the Achilles heel of their defense.
Yeah, when we talk about pass rush, you got to be able to send pressure, might be by blitzing guys or have 4 guys up front that can go out there and dominate. Micah Parsons is one of those guys. You look at this Packers secondary that lost Jair Alexander. He didn't play much of last season. You're forced to play a little bit more zone than you typically want to. Those guys on the screen, Bo Melton, a wide receiver, converted to a cornerback to add depth for them. Those are the guys with the biggest smile in the locker room when they see the trade for Micah Parsons. You know what? Life just got easier. Now the quarterback has less than 2 seconds to get the ball off before somebody's punching them in the mouth. They'll have a big smile. They went home, called wife, like, hey, we might be here for a little bit while.
Yeah,
Contract just
this
got
thing
pushed
could go
down the
well.
line.
Although it's not going to be easy week one, obviously, against the Lions and that crazy offense and Amon-Ra St. Brown and those guys. Okay, let me run a very quick hurry up. One item only with you, Dan Graziano, and that is in Miami, I noted with interest that Tyreek Hill was not named one of the team's captains. And after all that has gone on there with some of the controversy of his comments and now trying to work his way back in to good graces, I would ask you the question, is this something or is it nothing?
It's something because it sort of reflects what's been going on with Tyreek Hill there. Tua Tagovailoa saying in a press conference that Tyreek needed to repair some relationships. Tyreek coming out and apologizing to the team, saying at one point he didn't think he was going to be a captain this year, as he was for the last 3 years, because of the way last year ended and because of the way he acted. When I was at the Dolphins training camp, there was a lot of talk in that building about, you know, we don't have outside expectations anymore. We can get down to the nitty-gritty, the real work. And that includes repairing these relationships that need to be repaired in the building. So everybody said they're working on it, you know, seriously, not just, you know, platitudes and press conferences and stuff. Maybe this is another indication that that's true.
Everything that's come out of Miami, it's been a total kind of rebirth. All they've talked about, Brooks, their middle linebacker, this has been the hardest training camp I've been a part of. They had joint practices against 3 different teams. They went on the road for 10-plus days in training camp to do those joint practices. This is a team for the past few years, we've said they're soft. They can't win games in cold weather. They can't run the ball when it matters. This is a team trying to prove not only to the rest of the NFL, but to themselves that they're a team that's actually capable of winning games late in the season.
Are you concerned about the Tyreek Hill piece of this?
I'm concerned about the culture, and I think that's where it speaks to what Dan is talking about is as far as the culture down in Miami. They had 4 captains last year no longer on this ball club. We've heard Tua Tagovailoa, in I think at the beginning of training camp, talk about how there's still work to be done with him and Tyreek as far as repairing that relationship. I mean, think about this. You're making these comments in training camp. You've had all offseason, OTAs, minicamp, and you're still addressing this. There's a lot of damage that's going on as far as the culture in Miami that gives me pause as far as what is this team going to be as we move forward in the season.
I will say this. You don't need every guy to be a leader. Tyreek Hill is the type of player, I don't need you to lead anybody. You come in, you run by people, you make big plays. Don't worry about leading the other guys on this team. We have leaders. You just go out there and dominate and worry about Tyreek Hill being in a good headspace to go out there and put up 1,000+ yards this season.
Feels like a team that needs to get off to a fast start. Otherwise, you'll see what may go from there. Speaking of not getting off to a